Okay, I quite literally have not moved since you saw the last video. So we are in Adorable Animals. This is one of Jane's books. There you go. This is a grayscale. We started it last session. I think it was the 4th, the 3rd. Was it on my husband's birthday? Yes, it was the 4th. So now is going to be the 7th for y'all. It's still the 1st for me. In case I forget to mention it again, I will be having my hernia surgery on the 12th. So please pray for me on that. It's going to be a robotic surgery, so something new. For me anyway, not my regular hernias. Okay, so I am going to turn on the timer and we are going to get started. When last you were here, and if you missed it, please go back. Otherwise, you're going to be kind of lost on everything we've talked about. We did the palm leaf for the first shading. Then we did olive. And I told you that we were going to come back with some darker colors too. Before we come back with the darker colors, I am going to use the palm leaf once again and do some blending. Okay? Because some of this needs to be blended before I go in and start adding the darker. It's just going to help us to be able to see where we need the color so it can really pop. Okay? Just blending. Yeah, I quite literally reset my timer and started again since I worked on this last. I did not even leave this room. So, just like I promised. Okay, getting some of this in here. I'm going to do a little bit there. Just trying to do some blending. It'll help smooth things out. See how that already looks better than any of this? And it's just because we're smoothing. And I am trying my best to keep my hand out of the way. But I'm not sure how well I'm doing. Also, yeah, I did zoom in. Good. Yep, still in the page. Let me go down just a smidge. There we go. That way if I slide a little, you're still seeing what I'm doing. How many of you like using Crayola pencils? How many of you have never used Crayola pencils in your coloring as an adult? Okay, so let me know where you stand on that. There is no right or wrong answer on it. It is a personal preference thing. It really is. So, see how this is all smoothing out some though? As we blend. Just adding layers. And the paper in this book, it's really, I would not watercolor on it, but it's a nice enough grade that you can get quite a few layers on the pages without having any problems. You know, some of that paper used to be really crummy. You could almost read a newspaper through it, and if you tried to erase, you would rip. This is not like that, okay? Jane has a publisher that is doing some pretty decent paper. So we're grateful for that. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to this pencil right here. This is taupe. Taupe is a shade of brown, and you don't want to abuse it. You don't want to put too much on at once. So see how I'm going over this green, and it is changing that green. It's making the frog have, and I'm going to put it on the top part here too, It's just making that frog have a little bit darker of an olive color because of the way we're adding it. Okay? I am going to also use this up here on his eyes because, as I said before, we wanted him to have a lot of brown mixed in on him. He's not just your regular green grass frog that jumps through the yard. He is, I don't want to say he's an ugly toad, but he is more of what I would think of as a toad than a frog. And I'm not sure I know the difference. I do know that the name sounds different. You know, when you hear the word toad, you don't usually think cute little frog. You usually think, or I usually think, of something that's just not quite as pretty. So I don't know if that made any sense to anybody but me, but that's the way I'm thinking of him. I'm not going to add a lot of brown through here. I am going to brown in some of this here because he's got that shell piece that goes down the middle of his back that overhangs. So if it's overhanging, then it means this area is going to be a little darker. Yeah. Okay, same here. And it's changing that green into yet another shade. And that's what we want. We want different shades. Now this is part of his underbelly. So that is way down there. And then I'm going to go ahead and go over real quick. This is my darker green. I'm going to put some of this over the top just so it is a little bit of a brown green or a green brown. Okay, I want it dark, but I do want it to have a little bit of green down in there. Okay, same thing through here. I don't want this to go away. I don't want it to be as dark as that, but I do want it to look like this is popped up in front. And then this is popped up in front of this. So I can do some more brown right here. Just enough that it makes that set back and around. So anytime you want something set further back or rounded at the edge, you're going to add a little bit of dark to it. Notice I did not go to black. Black is a very harsh color, and unless you're doing like a zebra or something like that, I am more than likely not going to put black on an animal. Just like on faces, you don't really use a lot of black. You might use some charcoal. You might use some Payne's Gray or Outer Space, any of those dark shades, but seldom will you actually go with black. Now here, I'm going to go light, but I am going to turn this more of a brown than a cream. Can you see how he's starting to come, he or she is starting to come together now? Okay, this line needs to come in, and this leg is in front of this. So again, we're going to add some dark right next to it, going towards the body, so that that leg looks like it's popped up a little. Now, look at that frog's leg right here. Okay, this part is in front of this. So we're going to come in here and add a bit more brown. I'm getting lighter as I come out so that it blends. And then we have this part, which is actually tucked underneath. So now I'm going to go a little darker on this area. Okay? And then I just want to darken this up some. just for it to look like a different shade of olive, just a darker shade. And he's really coming along nicely, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to come in with yet another brown. I sure am. This is regular brown, okay? Regular old Crayola brown. This is where I'm going to come in and make my darks darker. So really right here, which looked fine, but look how much it really sets it back in there now. Okay, let's go over here. We really want this to be set back behind so that that part of the leg and that part of his front leg pops up. Same thing here. And then I got to get lighter as I come out so that it will blend. And you know how I usually come through and blend with the lightest shade? I'm thinking I might not even do that this time. I'm really liking, now here I'm going to go very light, 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 light. I'm really thinking that these pencils are blending enough for me that I may not do that at all. Okay, I'm going to come around here and do just a little bit. Okay, down under here. Down under here. Oh, we totally missed the fingers earlier. We'll hit that with some of this. It'll be all right. But see, we're just adding more layers of color. Just don't get heavy with it. It's okay to be light. Get the color in there. Frogs are kind of dirty in nature, so don't think you have to color him all perfect. Who knows where he was before he jumped into this picture, right? I mean, there is a stream of water right through here, so who knows where he's been playing. And see, I'm just adding bits here and there of the darker shade just to give us some depth. Give us some depth through here. That's how you get your layers. Just slowly, slowly adding. I don't want to lose the bottom of his foot or the back of his leg, so I am going to go ahead and add some of that there. And I think it'll be all right. Okay, through here, you know his feet have some brown on him. Goodness knows where he's been. The streams, the ponds, the mud, just all over the place. And see, every little bit we add is another layer that brings this frog to life. So don't be afraid to go back and keep adding layers. You can keep adding layers until you decide not to. Here's my cream color. I know I said I wasn't necessarily going to blend, but I'm going to. I just want to. I want to see what happens here. Okay, did you see how this went just a little darker? Because this dark here came up into it. So if you want yours to stay light, don't drag the other colors through it. All pencils, well, most pencils I've ever used, if you go to blending, you can drag the other colors. It's just the nature of a pencil. Yeah, see, that really blended that nice. And see, I'm going around here. I'm not crossing right over it, because then I would drag this right into that. And that would no longer be a separation line like it is now. That helped that a lot. And I do want those lines left there, so I will do each set like that so that they can stay and not go away. What do y'all think? Do you like him? I think it's pretty cool looking. I'd much rather do flowers, but that's okay. Books like this challenge me to do both. And I do like that. And I'm going to go this way, and then I'm going to go back the other direction, just so I'm going both. That's a circle. This can come up through here and around. Just keep going until you feel like it's blended the way you like it. Okay? This is all up to you, up to how you want to blend. But what do you think? I think it looks pretty good. So when we zoom back out, come on. Why isn't my zoom not zooming? There we go. There's your frog. Okay? Now, when we get to doing the water, I do want to look at this water some. I am going to turn the book. Sorry. But I want to do the water the direction that it's flowing. Okay? So that's the reason for that. Now, with this water, I want to do some blues and greens. So I grabbed green blue, and I'm going to come through very lightly and add this between my light and dark. This is kind of like my medium shade. Because I want my water to be several different colors. I want it to look like there's movement. And that's the best way I know to get it. Okay. All right, then I'm going to go to, don't you love that little bitty pencil? This is, I think, blue-green. The other one was green-blue. Maybe this is a teal green. It says Verde something. So, anyway, you can tell it's a little bit lighter, and I am putting a little bit more pressure on it. I'll put a little bit here, a little bit down here. So I'm going to work on these tealy blues, or blue-green and green-blue first, and then I'm going to add some more color, some more blue, or not blues, I'm going to add some greens. Okay? Because a swampy little river area, I'm going to go back to the first color, is going to be more, I think of as greens than blues. It does have all the animals romping through it and doing their business in it and everything else. Okay? It's not like the Caribbean beach. Alright, so now I've done some more dark. And I've done my light. I'm going to leave those there. Now I'm going to come back with yellow-green. This is going to be kind of my go-between color. So I am going to go ahead and put this down. Now, I haven't shown you this in a while. If you've got an area and you don't want to be neat, put your finger down and you'll hit your finger and you won't go off the edge. Now, am I concerned about the edge? No, because it's the edge of the paper anyway. But you can do that. Or you can put a ruler down and your pencil will knock on the side of the ruler. Okay, again, looks like a hot mess before it looks better. I'm okay with that. I really am. Lots of things in life are like that. They're a hot mess before they're better. God didn't promise us it was going to be easy. Trust me, I know that. I know. Alrighty. So I've gone over pretty much everything with this. Hadn't planned on it, but it just seemed to be working. So now then, I am going to use this green. No, I'm going to skip this. I'm going to go to pine green. Pine green is going to have just a little bit of blue in it, hence the name pine. Pine has some blue in it. It's more of a blue-green than a green. So I can come over here now and do a little bit more blending. I am going to go over this whole thing with, I think, cream. I was thinking white, but I think I want cream for it. I'm not sure why. I cannot explain it. I did go over that butterfly's antennae. So when I get to that again later and I'm doing the butterfly, I'll just add those back in. Probably with a liner, just a fine liner pen. Okay, so let's see. Let's try the almond that we used before. Okay, let's just see what happens here. Almond, and I'm just going the direction that the water flows. Can you see it blending right before your eyes? It might not be as soft as I wanted, but I think I like it. Just keep going over it. These are Crayolas. You're going to have to work with your Crayola pencils. They're not going to blend quite as easy as other pencils would. But you can do it. I've got no doubt that you can do it. If you missed the coloring video of my granddaughter and I, it was last month, I believe, we actually mixed blue, yellow, and red to make the other colors. And you ought to see her mix colors. She'll be 4 the day after Christmas, and she is really like coloring and painting and all that. I haven't actually seen her paint here, but I know she does at her daycare, the preschool. So, all right, so my water is getting there. Now the water is taking time, obviously. I'm going to come back with this and just, let's see, do I want this or do I want it more blue? I think I'm going to grab this blue. This is light blue. Don't do it yet. Let's see what happens first. I just think I want my water a little more blue than it is. So I'm thinking maybe go over it with this. But I don't want you to mess up if you don't like what I'm doing. That's why I said wait and don't do it just yet. Watch first. And see, it's got that little bit of green under it. Or maybe you liked it before I started doing this. That's what I mean about adding colors. You can get several different colors, several different shades because of what you've added. Then you can add, I believe it's if you add your dark and light, like your black and your white, then you're going to get different hues and tints and stuff like that. I do not know all those fancy words. I just know that it changes it. Now I'm going back to my almond again. Okay. Last time to blend through here and see what I can get. I just knew I didn't want it to be a regular solid colored blue water. How'd y'all's flower come out, if anybody actually is doing this? I still haven't worked on mine, obviously. Okay, so now if I turn it back and we zoom back out, there's my water. And see, because I colored this direction, then that's the way the water is flowing. I do like our frog. When we come back next time, do you want us to work on these little flowers? We're going to do them in a blue purple, and then we can work on the leaves some too. Actually, do we have time? We've got a little bit of time right now, so I'm just going to do a couple leaves and then you can do the rest. I'm using palm leaf and I'm doing the light spots. Actually, I'm going to do all over. And see, you can tell when I'm in a hurry and trying to finish something before our time is up, because I go a lot quicker. But leaves, gosh, y'all, leaves are so much easier. Okay? Leaves are just tons easier to get done than the rest of the picture. That right there, yeah, that's another leaf. And then this is another one of those. So I just did the whole thing, the entire leaf, and the light. Now I'm going to come in with that olive, and I'm going to do just the dark. Notice that stem area right through the middle, that big fat vein. You want to make sure that that stays in that lighter color. Go around those bits. Okay? And then when we go back over this in a minute with the lighter shade, it's all going to pull together so very nicely. You'll see. It will be okay. It's just a hot mess. See, I do turn. I know some people have been like, well, do you ever turn your page? Yes, I do. All the time. All the time. Just get the dark bits. This is where it being a grayscale really helps you, because it shows you where all your darks and lights go. Okay, I'm going to come in with the lighter now, and I'm going to blend. Just blend it all. Just blend it all together. Look at that. See, when you go to blend, it just pulls it all back together. So I will do, next time we get together, I will go ahead and work on some flowers on here, and then that'll probably be last bit we do on this for a bit. Okay, I think after that you'll be able to finish the page by yourself if you're doing it. And if not, hopefully you can apply this to something else that you are doing. Okay, so there's that. Anything else? Any questions on what we've done? Do you need help on anything? You know, leave me comments down below and I will get back to you as I can. Okay? All right, well, that's it for now then. I will see you in a few days. Bye.